Hey, how's it going? Vladimir Donis here. So, hey, today I wanted to jump online and talk about using Facebook ads to grow your online coaching business. Now, this specific content are for individuals who desire to use their specific knowledge, experience, or expertise to start or grow a specific online coaching business. That is who this specific type of content is going to be useful to. So, essentially, using Facebook ads to grow your online coaching business. So essentially, from a conversion standpoint, the world has made conversion a lot easier for us. What I mean is that if you desire to have a communication with someone for the sole purpose of having that individual become a mate, or for the sole purpose of having that specific individual become a client, the world has done some things to kind of just make this stuff a little bit more easier for us. I'm not saying that it's very easy, but there's some things that are put into place that makes those specific things easier. So let me go ahead and explain. So a long time ago, if you, as a young man, if you desire to kind of just approach a young lady to take that individual to the next step, there are a couple of different options. So option number one, I'm going to talk about the cold option, which is probably, this could be the hardest option. And that hardest option could be, hey, you see a young lady in a store and that specific individual catches your attention. And because that person catches your specific attention, you approach that specific individual for the sole purpose of trying to ask that specific individual for their specific number. So the good thing is that you're brave enough to approach that specific individual. The bad thing is that there's a lot that you don't know about this specific young lady. You don't know if she's single. You don't know if she's married. You don't know if she has a boyfriend. There's so many different things that you don't know about this specific individual. So you're just kind of just taking a chance at that specific in that specific instance. So that's an individual that is a cold specific individual. The other type of individual that you can go ahead, the other type of way you can go ahead and take the next step with someone is that it could be through a mutual friend. So you could have a mutual friend. That mutual friend knows for sure that this young lady is single. That mutual friend knows for sure that you are single. And that mutual friend kind of just makes that introduction. Now, when that happens, the likelihood of that individual giving you their phone number, the likelihood of that individual kind of just taking the next step with you is much higher because you're being introduced through a specific source that knows both of you guys, right? So it makes it just that much easier. That we call that one there is a hot prospect, and from a transition standpoint, it's that much easier for that type of a transaction to kind of just take place. The other way that things kind of just happen as it relates to dating is that now you also have dating sites. So what a dating site is, a lot of you guys know what a dating site is, but the dating site is at least when you approach a young lady on the dating site, you know some things about that specific individual. Chances are, right, that specific individual is single. I'm not saying 100%, but chances are that specific individual is single. So because that specific individual is single, you know that the likelihood of you being able to kind of just ask that specific individual for their number and kind of just taking the next step is much easier, right? So so those are the different ways that you can go ahead and ask an individual out on a specific date. As the first option is very difficult. The second option is like, well, at least this specific individual is single, and then the third option is someone kind of just introducing you to that specific individual. Let's talk about option number two, the dating site example. Although that specific individual is single, there are some methodologies, there are some steps that you have to perhaps take before you can go ahead and ask that individual for their phone number. Just because they're single, it doesn't mean that you can just say, hey, give me your phone number when you're meeting that specific individual on a dating site, and that individual is going to say to you, yes, let's take the next step. It doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to go through a getting to know process, whatever that means. If it means that you guys have to kind of just go back and forth and have communication for the next 7 days, or whatever the case may be, there's a getting to know process. There's a warming up process before you can go ahead and kind of just take that next step. So now your question, you're probably asking, okay, what does that have to do with Facebook marketing? What does it have to do with online marketing? How does that relate to me coaching? How does that relate to me growing my online coaching business using Facebook ads? The good news is that with Facebook, now let's just kind of just transition to business. So there's a couple of different ways we we prospects or we have prospected over the years. So way number one is that you have a cold way of kind of just prospecting and trying to generate leads and trying to generate sales. And that cold way is, we all know it is just doing, cold calling. You can just get a list of people from the phone book and just say, you know what, I'm just going to call all of these specific individuals until I find the right type. So that's way number one. Way number two is, way back in the day, people used to just do door knocking. They just go and just knock on people's doors and just kind of just, trying to prospect that way as well. Facebook has come along and the internet has come along, and they've made those things a lot easier for us. Here's what the problem lies. So the problem is that a lot of people think that with Facebook advertising, it's all about one methodology and it's all about one conversion element. So essentially, Facebook has different methodologies and has different ways for you to kind of go ahead and take an individual from, hey, you don't necessarily know me, now you know me. So here are some of the good things about Facebook. Thing number one is that there's millions and millions of people on Facebook. The good news is that Facebook has done a very good job from a segmentation standpoint of segmenting those specific individuals, and Facebook know a lot about those specific individuals. For example, Facebook knows, because everyone on Facebook is not created equally. Some people belong to business communities. Some people belong to health communities. Some people belong to wealth communities. So everyone that's on Facebook has been segmented. So because those specific individuals have been segmented by groups and or by communities, it makes it just that much easier for people like myself and people like you who desire to kind of just generate leads and clients from Facebook. It makes it just that much easier for you to kind of just make that happen, right? To be able to kind of just make that happen. So based on the fact that Facebook has already done a good job of segmenting, what we do sometimes as business owners is we say, hey, you know what? Because Facebook already knows this specific individual is into business, or this specific individual has a business, for example, let me go ahead and run an ad, and let me go ahead and run a conversion element to that specific individual and say, you know what? I know that you're in business. Because you're in business, I know that you might need marketing and lead generation type stuff. So let me go ahead and create an ad. Let me target you. Let me just say to you, you know what? I am an individual who offers this specific type of service. Let me go ahead and help you take the next step. So now going back to so sometimes in some instances that may indeed work because that specific individual definitely is ready to kind of just take that next step. But that's only a small percentage of the time. So the rest of the percentage of the time, what you have to do, your job is to go through a warming up process. So the warming up process in this specific instance is allowing that specific individual to get to know you, to get to know your specific business, for the sole purpose of determining if you guys are a good match, or to try to determine if it's the right time for that specific individual to kind of just take the next step. And the good news is that with Facebook makes it very easy for you to kind of just accomplish that. And one of the ways that it does that is that it has something we call retargeting. It has something we call pixeling, and it knows the activities of the individuals that engages with content that you put out there. So let me just give you two examples. Example number one is I can say, you know what? I am looking for people who are business owners, and I want to help those, and I want, my end goal is for those individuals to become clients. But I don't know if all of those specific individuals are ready to kind of just take the next step with me right away. Let me warm up some of those specific individuals. One way I can warm up those specific individuals is I can create video content, because when I create video content, I can use an objective. So, earlier I mentioned that, sometimes we think that Facebook is all about one objective. I can use a video view objective. And when I use that specific video view objective, I put that video view objective out there. Now I'm able to see who are those specific individuals inside of that specific segment that has engaged with, that's watched, let's say 75%, 95% of my specific video. And based on that, now I can go ahead and ask those specific individuals to go ahead and take the next step with me, because now I know those specific individuals have engaged with my specific content by way of watching 95% or 100% of my videos. So that's way number one. Way number two is that if you can do articles. You can go ahead and write articles. You can go ahead and create a blog post. And when you create that specific blog post, what you're trying to do is you're sending traffic to that. So you're using a traffic objective. You're sending traffic to that specific blog post for the sole purpose of trying to determine, okay, who is interested in this specific topic inside of that specific segment. Let me go ahead and identify my type of individuals, the individuals who are interested in my specific topic. Once I know who those specific individuals are, Now I've done the additional work necessary to kind of just warm those specific individuals up. Now I can go ahead and take those individuals to the next step of my marketing process. So as you can see, although from a conversion standpoint, the world has made conversion just that much easier for us, we still have to make sure that from a context standpoint, we put things into perspective from a context standpoint, and that the tools that are made available to us, we want to make sure that we properly use the tools. Because if we don't use the tools the right way, if we use it out of context, or if we don't necessarily use them in the right sequence, then things won't work. So you want to make sure that you're using things in the right context, specifically with Facebook advertising, and you want to make sure that you're using it in the right sequence. Now, if you need help with this type of stuff, I've done a couple of different things. The first thing I've done is that I've created a web class that's going to allow you to go ahead and dive a little bit more deeper. So the goal and the objective of the web class is two things. Thing number one is going to show you how to take your knowledge or your expertise to start an online coaching business. If you already have an online coaching business, but you need to know how to get more leads and how to get more clients, that specific web class is going to kind of just help you to accomplish that as well. You can go ahead and sign up for that specific web class by going to connectionmessage.com. I've also left the link somewhere on this specific page. You can go ahead and click on that specific link, and that link is going to take you to that page, which is going to allow you to register for that free web class. That's it for this specific episode. I'll see you in the next one.